Hi everyone, welcome to this video with me, Sammy from Aiyn Zahev Sounds. We're going to be taking a look at a couple of things in this video. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to show you that I do have a sale on right now, so I want you to know if you go to aiynzahevsounds.com, as it is here, I'll put it in the description below, you can get 30% off all these sound banks apart from the bundles. So there's some really good deals to be had. Do go check it out. My latest bank is this one here for June 2. But I've also got a bunch of others. There's one for Hive, one for Serum, and so on. So go check it out and let me know what you think as well. Also, on the subject of letting me know what you think, I do get a lot of feedback. People send it to me using the contact me form here, and that's fine. I like to hear from you, I really do. I would also love it though if you could put a review on the website. Just take a minute, even if it's just a couple of words, even if it's not positive, just to let others know what you think of the bank and whether it's worth their money or not. Okay, so with that said and done, let's move on to our first feature here. It's a new skin for Diva called Diva Volta. Now, this is on the KVR forums at the moment. I don't know if he has a website. If he does, I'll put it in the link below, or I might just link the thread on the forum. So what this is just a skin for Diva. You can resize it, and so it's fully functional, and it's just got things laid out a little differently, but also there are some graphical displays here. For example, this shows you the LFO rates and their strength as well. So if I put depth mod down here, you see that it's only moving a small amount. So that graphical representation of the LFOs could be quite helpful there. The other thing is, of course, you've got the modifications, the trimmers all here, along with the scope all on one page. And then finally, this is perhaps the most interesting for me, just because you can actually instantaneously flick through the different types of filters and oscillators and everything while you're actually tweaking a patch on the fly. So let me just go over here. So we've got some resonance in there, and I can instantly switch between the different filter types and just preview them. Whereas on the original skin you did have a drop down menu. It's not a really big thing, but it can be a little bit helpful, and also some of you might prefer the more sort of futuristic look here. Okay, so that's the Diva skin. Pretty cool stuff. Let's move on. The other thing I wanted to show you is the P900 does in fact work on Ableton Live, and it works absolutely fine. This is actually a really gorgeous synth in my opinion. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what's making this so special. When you just sort of play around with the filter and the oscillator, it sounds, you know, reasonably standard for what you get today. But somehow, as you keep programming this, or as I do, I find it just delivers some of the most really beautiful sounds I've heard from a VST in a while. So I highly recommend you check this out if you're on Mac. If you're not on Mac, he is going to be working on a PC version. I think that's a priority. So hopefully not too long from now. The other benefit of this particular modular VST is you can just so easily click here to get 4 or 8 voices, which is fantastic. No extra patching required. I did already cover this in a video, which is on my YouTube channel and also on the webpage for Pulsar Modular. Since then, he's added a sequencer, step sequencer, and I really want to check that out as well. In fact, I've already had a look and it's really cool, but I want to make a video for it. Where's it gone? Voltage Store, there it is. So this is really cool. I'll probably make a little video on how you actually use this and show you some programming, step sequencing as well. So moving on now to the main event, the D16 PunchBox. So I didn't know a whole lot about this when it was in progress, even though I actually work with Sounds of Revolution and CFA Sound because I'm sort of part of their resonance sound umbrella, along with some other great talented people as well, like Black Octopus, Audio Boutique, and so on. Now, I actually didn't know they were working on this until it came out. Now, what's interesting about that is these two guys have been creating samples for probably over a decade. So quite clearly, their input has really made a very finely detailed plugin here. There's a lot of control over the kick, and the presets really do show a lot of variety, and the presets are really good actually. There are so many presets that I really can't go through them all. I was actually just going to play through the presets a little bit, but there are just way too many for me to cover. If you check this out here, yeah, quite a lot. I'm not really a fan of the way the browser is set up right now, but you know, it's functional. There's nothing wrong with it. I guess I just prefer it vertical, but then it's just the way it is. What is cool though, is you've got these genres here you can explore. So you can get really quickly into the sound you're looking for here. So it's techno. the kicks and the presets really do have a very distinct identity. It's not so much just like here's a click and a sub bass. So let me just put a limiter on this real quick so I don't go over a clip there. Yeah, so that's the browser. We've got trance kicks here too. Actually pretty good. And I do have a subwoofer in the studio, and yeah, they really have a lot of very deep bass here. Okay, so let's actually go default. I'm going to hit Command and click on this here. So if you don't know with D16 plugins, these parts here in the yellow, they're sort of secondary functions, and you need to click Command, or I guess from PCP Control, and you can initialize the patch. So there's nothing playing right here now. What we can do though is load up a sample, go to our 909 bass drum, and that sounds very similar, if not exactly the same to me, as the D16 Drumazon, which I have as well. Yeah, so just like the Drumazon 909 there, the 808. Really nice deep bass drum. The 606. And a sine here. Now this is interesting because you got some nice control over the sweep. So let's have a look. Sweep time, end frequency, start frequency, and sweep time. So some very tight clicks there. Here's a sweep curve. Again, tremendous control. I really like how much control we have there. Then we've got samples as well. Now, the interesting thing is, this is either going to be the basis of your kick, and then you're going to put samples over it, or you're going to use one of these modules to create the basis of your kick, and you're going to layer samples over here. So we've got this click sample player here. Let's take away the kick a minute. There's our click. And again, we've got a lot of control with the tuning of this, the spread. It's interesting that these are stereo samples. You don't often get that. So that's the character I was talking about. You can really create some kicks which have some real distinct definition to them. Now, this is one layer. We can activate it, deactivate it like this. Then we've got tops over here. Wow, this is really interesting. Now if we go to browse here, just want to take a look and see if we can load our own samples. So these are the factory. If we go to user, this is empty. So I'm gonna see if we can figure out, there we go. You could even import your own samples. So you could actually use this not just to create kicks, but to maybe, I don't know how long the sample limit is. Maybe we could actually import a sample here of a vocal. She does. I'm gonna load this one up here, see what happens. This is a good start. See, that's really quite interesting how much you can play around with this. Very cool. Let's load up another one here. but you might want to load them in here instead. You can do that too. So you can load up your own samples in these sections over here and have a nice clean 909 here, for example. So there's really a lot you can do with this plugin, not just with kicks, but actually you could do a lot of sampling with this, with vocal samples or bits of music or whatever. And another thing is even the 909 and 808 modules and so on all have their own presets as well. So that's really cool. So let's take a little look now at the effects section over here. We've got Bit Crusher. Again, presets down here too. Looks like a mix amount. So there's a lot that's been done in this plugin that you don't even have to tweak everything. You can just flip through these for some ideas. Distortion. Very nice. Cutoff. I think this is quite straightforward. Let's see what the resonance is like. Nice equalizer. Let's check this out. Nice. Let's take away some of the mids. Very cool. Then a limiter here. Really squash the sound. This is just fantastic. So what I like about this really is the variety. The kicks are great, they sound good, but there are other plugins where you can get kicks that sound okay, but they don't really have much character very often, at least I find. I think the most interesting thing is just the amount of samples you can load in, but what I really like is how many different samples are already in here prepared for use. So you can just like go through these and start customizing and come up with your own sounds. I really like that. And then a really cool thing is, check this out. I hit export. There is my drum file, and I can then just drag it onto a track right there. I like that. That is really useful. So let's see. Create a drum rack here. And let's create this. Drag it into, let's see, can I drag it right into the drum rack? Very cool. You can also export it right from here, save as, and that's actually really good for me in particular because I've got an Aiyn sampler now, and I've really wanted to start to fill it up with my own custom sort of samples. And right here I can start to do that because you have to have 16-bit depth for it to work on my particular version. So this is really awesome. Kudos to D16. Actually, how many plugins are there that let you actually generate the sound, bounce it down right there in the plugin, and then drag it into your DAW? Not a whole lot. Okay, so there's also randomize here. Let's check this out. Very cool. This randomizes just this section. So the plugin seems to be able to make very precise, clean kicks, along with other kicks that are very recognizable and sort of very characterful that you could really make your own. So on that front, I think they did a really good job. Now the other thing I think they've done really well is you can just use this as a sort of preset box and then tweak the presets to match your track, and you've got so much control that you could really get this thing to mix with whatever you're working on. But then you could also grow and learn the plugin over time, so you could gradually start to get more and more advanced. So guys and girls, that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you in the next video.